year is 1952. Christchurch School. This is my school. My name is Marjorie, and I sit here at the front of the class.
The year is 1956. This is Diane's school. She comes from Wales, and the head teacher says to her on her first day,
"We will soon make a nice English girl out of you."
She wants to go home to Holyhead.
The year is 1928. This is Jim's school too, the boys' department. He likes reading, but he gets sick a lot.
The year is 1842. This is Charlie Parr's school. He sits over there. Just there.
The year is 1846. This is Ethel Williams' school. She lives in Black Diamond Street. Her dad won a medal in the war, and the vicar gave her a prize for a story about how her dad lost his right arm.
The year is 1896. School number 6 has many head teachers. Their room is just through there. One of their many duties is to write up the weekly accounts in the logbooks. If nothing out of the ordinary occurs, they are to write ordinary routine.
The year is 1953. Tom Morgan is in the infants department and he lives with his mum on Gloucester Street.
The year is 1943. The school over the years has many reverends. This is their school. The church is just across the way, and they visit the school daily to check the children's Bible knowledge and catechism.
The year is 1863. And in his report, the school inspector for school number 6 writes, "The girls are well behaved and have passed very fairly in religious knowledge, fairly in reading and dictation, and fairly well in writing. The needlework is fairly good, and the arithmetic fairly good."
The year is 1914. Vera Bebbington attends this school. There are 4 Bebbington girls. They don't like this school. They were always in trouble, got caned regularly, got 2 strokes on Monday for being late, 2 strokes on Wednesday for disobedience, and 6 strokes on Thursday for
constantly giving trouble to the teacher and being defiant.
They wasn't though.
It's a time of primroses, bluebells. This is the time that we would gather these in the hedgerows and take them into school as gifts for the teachers.
Here we have Mr. Parr and his son, Charlie.
He's looking to find a good school for his darling little boy.
Where can we send our Charlie to school? He needs an education.
The year is 1842.
Back in the good old days, eh?
Dad!
What is it, Charlie? What do you want?
What's life like then? In 1842?
Oh, life's not bad in 1842.
As long as they don't work you too hard in the mills.
Or the machinery don't kill or cripple you.
Or you don't starve to death on the streets.
Or typhus and cholera don't get you.
Or you're not thrown into debtor's prison.
As long as pneumonia and measles don't kill you.
Or scarlet fever and influenza.
As long as you don't mind living in filthy slums, 10 to a room.
Or overcrowded lodging houses.
All right. Well, I mean, apart from those things, you can expect to live a long and prosperous life, my son.
Of course, that's true.
If you were a toff living in Manchester in 1842, you could expect to live,
On average.
38 years.
But what of your working class? What was the average age to be expected to live then?
Was it 37 years?
Or was it 27 years?
What about 17 years?
That means I'd be dead now if I was alive in 1842.
Ignore him, he's always trouble.
And the answer is
27 years.
The study reveals that in 1842, over half of children died before their 5th birthday.
Mind you, the unhealthiest place to live in 1842 was Liverpool. The average age there was just 15 years.
But looking on the bright side...
1842 Mines Act stops women and children from working down the mines.
1842 Income Tax Act, the first peacetime income tax in Britain. 7 pence on the pound for incomes over £150.
Chester College takes its first 10 male students trained as teachers.
But of course, in 1842, not many children got any education at all.
See? I don't have to go to school. It's not compulsory in 1842.
But
Chester does boast 16 boarding schools and 26 day schools.
And a railway station built in the Italianate style.
What's an Italianate style?
Dunno, but there's trains to Birkenhead and Crewe.
There's plenty of schools here then.
5 of the boarding schools are for the sons of gentlemen.
I probably can't afford that.
11 of the boarding schools were for young ladies.
How do you fancy wearing a dress, Charlie?
Ha ha ha. Very witty, Dad.
Chester also boasts 26 day schools.
One of those must be alright for our Charlie.
With fees starting at £3 per annum.
What about the Ragged School, situated in Bolton?
Ragged schools, what's that?
Yeah, a bit like Sunday school.
The children are to come after 10 in the morning and stay till 12.
They are then to be conducted to church and then return at 1.
After church, they are to be conducted and repeating the catechism till 5 o'clock, and then dismissed at the junction to go home.
Without making a noise.
By 1830, 1.5 million children attended Sunday schools, and out of these came the ragged schools.
As my friend Charles Dickens said, those who are too ragged, wretched, filthy and forlorn to enter any other establishment and who would be turned away from any church door are invited to come in and learn something and have someone show them some sympathy.
Classes are held every Sunday evening.
Hopefully further classes will soon be held on other weekday evenings.
Reading, writing and religious instruction taught.
As well as industrial activities like knitting and clog making. What about you, girl? Do you want to attend the ragged schools?
I can't go there. I don't finish work until 8:30 at night.
What about you, girl?
I can't go there either. I'm obliged to go out and earn some bread.
I'm not sending our Charlie to any ragged school. There must be other alternatives.
What about the national schools? Have you thought about them?
National schools, what are they?
Schools run by the
National Society promoting the education of the poor in the established Church of England and Wales.
Several Chester parishes have already set up national schools.
The parish of Christchurch is opening such a school right now.
The school opened in 1842. It is school number 6.
It has 2 classrooms.
Taking boys, girls and infants.
There had been a building here before, but it was only used for Sunday school.
That sounds grand. Not too far from our lodgings too.
But
All national schools charge a small weekly fee.
All parents who wish their children to be admitted into the school must apply to one of the committee on Monday morning by 9 o'clock.
The payment for one child shall be 2 pennies per week.
But if 2 or more children are sent from the same family, only 1 penny will be required for each additional child.
those who write in a pen and ink must pay a penny extra per week.
And find their own copybooks.
The children are to come with their hands and faces washed, their hair clean and neat.
And they are never to be without a pocket handkerchief.
Every Sunday is a whole holiday, and there'll be further holidays at harvest and Christmas time.
But all the children are expected
To behave respectfully to all mistresses and managers.
To be lowly and reverent to all their betters.
To be kind to their schoolfellows.
to use no bad language.
Never to mock cripples.
Nor to be rude to the old.
To keep by the Holy Sabbath.
To come and go from the school in an orderly manner.
Never to throw stones.
Or loiter by the way.
To keep quiet in and around school.
To keep their books free and neat from dogs' ears.
Not to stand upon the desks.
Never to scrawl upon or damage the walls of the school rooms.
No child can be admitted with an infectious disease.
Here is a copy of the rules and precepts of National School number 6.
Price, 1 penny.
I'll have to afford it. The boy needs an education.
1, 2, 2. 2 twos are 4. 3 twos are 6. 4 twos are 8. 5 twos are 10.
Headmistress's logbook, April 20th, 1842. New pupil admitted today, Charles Henry Parr. Had reason to reprove children from coming late to school. Examined 2nd class. Sarah Tingley obliged to leave school for an hour to assist her mother. Otherwise, ordinary routine. Nothing to report. April 22nd, 1853. Caution children against running about before school, also after being dismissed. Otherwise, ordinary routine. Nothing to report.
1 2 is 2. 2 twos are 4. 3 2s are 6, 4 2s are 8,
But
5 2s.
the 1800s is of course the age of the melodrama!
No TVs, DVDs, or cinemas in the 1800s.
But they still had their own versions of soap operas.
Heroes and villains.
Damsels in distress.
Dastardly deeds.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Royalty Theatre Chester is proud to present a series of pulsating and predictable performances performed by preposterous professionals.
Who keep forgetting their lines.
In the most astounding drama this century has witnessed.
The terrible tragedy of Maria Martin.
Or Murder in the Red Barn.
The villain, William Corder.
Rich and bad.
The doomed heroine, Maria Martin.
I'm a simple country girl, but poor and honest.
Egad, that Maria is pretty. I must have her. If you'll meet me at the Red Barn, as sure as I have might, I will take you to Ipswich Town and there make you my wife.
Don't do it, Maria!
Oh, William, I never thought that I would have a rich husband. Being a poor, simple girl. Oh, alas! Woe is me! William has had his wicked way. Oh, no, and now... Oh, I die!
Shame!
He straight went home and fetched his gun, his pickaxe and his spade. He went unto the Red Barn, and there he dug her grave.
Maria, silly wench.
Stop right there, Mr. Corder.
Damn. Perhaps I might be able to offer you a small bribe, a country house in Devon or Derbyshire.
I am Maria's father. Third Special Constable! This is to which you on the gallows, Mr. Corder!
Oh, well, let's do the moral then. Come, all you thoughtless young man, a warning tape by me, to think upon my unhappy fate hanging on a tree.
Enough of this! The children of Christchurch School must be instructed on drill in a daily basis.
Claps, fall in, attention! Head erect, eyes to the front, shoulders back, arms straight, hands on thighs, fingers together, heels together, at the angle of 60 degrees.
Drill helps children follow instructions, improves their coordination and health, and prepares them for work and military service. The lesson is led by the class teacher. In order to obtain the best results from physical training, the lesson should be rendered as enjoyable and interesting as possible to the children.
Hips firm, hands on hips, right foot out, place, recover.
Hesitation should be avoided, and while cheerfulness is greatly to be desired, it should be in a manner that discipline may be maintained.
Left foot out, place, recover. Stand easy.
1 3 is 3, 2 3s are 6, 3 3s are 9, 4 3s are 12, 5
Headmistress's logbook, April 28th, 1863. Attendance not so great, caused no doubt by the approach of the races. Many parents have lodgers for the race week and keep the elder girls at home to assist them. Class 1 did some needlework for an hour and a half. All go to play in the fields in the afternoon. Otherwise, ordinary routine. Nothing to report.
The year is 1892.
Blimey, that went quick. What about all those years in between?
Ordinary routine. Just ordinary routine, my child.
What? For 30 years?
Stop asking silly questions. The year is 1892. Right?
Latest novel just published, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
What's that about?
About some great detective called Sherlock Holmes.
Nah, that'll never catch on.
Queen Victoria's still on the throne.
Throne.
Queen Victoria's still on the throne.
And now, Charlie, go to school? Because all of the children between the ages of 5 and 10 must attend school.
Yeah, but nobody really checks.
Head Mistress's Logbook, Friday, June 24th, 1892. Today, Nellie Spencer started her work at Christchurch School as a candidate.
Oh, what? I'm going to be an assistant teacher.
Right, time for lesson 2. The life of a pupil teacher.
Clean, attentive, bright young girls of 13 years or over can apply to Christchurch School to train to be assistant teachers.
Name?
Nellie Spencer, Reverend.
That's not a proper name, child. What is your Christian name, child?
No, that is my proper name, Reverend. Nellie Spencer, Reverend.
Eleanor Spencer. Address?
The Schoolhouse, Harden, Flintshire.
The pupil teacher is then apprenticed to one of the school mistresses and stays at the school until she is 18 years of age.
Father's occupation?
Father's a schoolmaster and a stationer.
During your time as a pupil teacher here, you will receive 7.5 hours tuition from one of the school mistresses in order to improve your knowledge.
Fine by me. Yes, Reverend. Thank you very much, Reverend.
You will also be expected to assist the teacher in Standard 2 in order to gain practice in teaching.
Yes, Reverend.
At the end of your apprenticeship, you will be eligible to sit an examination for the Queen's Scholarship, which would subsequently allow you to go to one of the teacher training colleges for ladies.
Thank you very much, Reverend. How much will I get paid?
I beg your pardon?
How much will I get paid, Reverend? You see, Mum needs the extra money, what with another baby on the way.
The pay is £10 a year.
Cheese and crust? That's grand, Reverend.
Rising to £20 a year at 18 years old.
Grand. Where do I sign?
I need your father's signature, Eleanor. You are only 13 years old, my child.
I'll get him to sign this evening, Reverend.
And Eleanor?
Yes, Reverend?
How is your catechism? Are you a regular attendee at a Sunday school?
My catechism's top drawer, Reverend. And my Bible studies, both top drawer, Reverend.
I hope we have made a wise choice with this one, headmistress. The girl seems a little headstrong.
Don't worry, Reverend. I'll soon sort that one out. 1894. Nellie Spencer, now in her second year as a pupil teacher, rebuked for hitting a child. The pupil teachers and assistants have been frequently warned by managers and myself about this fault. This is not the first complaint received about this teacher, in spite of the warnings. Only myself and fully certificated teachers can administer corporal punishment, and this must be recorded in the school's punishment book. Thursday, September 6th, 1895. Nellie Spencer, rebuked over lesson this morning for showing temper. She, and Ada Morgan, the other pupil teacher in the same year, had learned different columns of roots in their grammar.
I chose the right-hand column, and Nellie chose the left-hand column.
How? You've done this on purpose!
No, I didn't. You knew what words you were supposed to learn. You just haven't done them.
You conniving bitch! Little Miss Perfect!
I told you what words I was going to learn yesterday after school.
You never!
Yes, I did. I'm not the one that lies here, Nellie.
I told you which words I was going to learn. You've done this on purpose to get me in trouble with her.
I don't need to get you in trouble with her. You are perfectly capable of doing that yourself.
You know what she'll do. She'll go and tell the vicar, and then me dad, he'll get another one of them letters again saying I've been reprimanded. So you are a cow.
No, Nellie, give them back. They're not yours. They cost money, you know. Give them back.
Ladies! What on earth is going on here?
occurred so frequently lately that I felt some steps must be taken, as it upsets the whole lesson hour for the other teachers. Intend to mention to the vicar when he comes in.
Little improvement in Nellie Spencer, despite this being her 3rd year with us. Now she is away from school with a bad arm. She got a scratch from Ada during their dispute, and it has become very swollen and red. The doctor gives very little hope of her being able to write at her examination next Saturday. So I sent her to the convalescent home in New Brighton to recover from her injuries.
Welcome, my dear. Welcome to the Convalescent Home for Women and Children in Rowson Street, New Brighton. The home was founded in 1842 and was originally known as the Seaside Institution for Women and Children, one of very few places in the whole of England.
My dearest Sydney, I'm writing this letter to you from the Convalescent Home for Women and Children in New Brighton. The vicar sent me here.
The home is intended solely for the reception of women patients recovering from illness or requiring rest at the seaside. The institution is open all year round, thus making it a very pleasant residence for delicate persons, even in the most severe weather.
This place is pretty awful. The train journey here was ghastly, and the weather here is terrible. 5 days of wind and rain so far.
We like to think we provide a comfortable home for delicate persons at a very moderate charge.
Rules, rules, rules. It's just like being back at Christchurch School.
Breakfast is at 8 o'clock prompt. Dinner is at 6, and all patients must be in bed by 9 o'clock.
They do say that they're planning to build a tower here in New Brighton. Models on the Eiffel Tower in Paris, but better. You'll be able to take me out in style here, Sydney.
Patients are allowed to walk along the seafront in the mornings, but must be back by 12 o'clock.
It will have a ballroom big enough to accommodate 1,000 couples, a theatre, gardens, and 4 lifts will take visitors to the top of the tower for the price of 6pence.
Afternoons are given over to reading, knitting, and sometimes the vicar comes over for hymn singing. Remember, dinner is at 6 sharp, or you go without.
My only consolation is that when the rain ceased for an hour or two, I ventured into a rather small and grubby bookshop near the church. At first I thought there was nothing of interest there, until I came across a book of poems by a lady called Christina Rossetti. I opened the book and was immediately taken by the intensity of the feelings described therein. I've never come across such clear passion and such depth of emotions expressed. I mean, like this one, for instance. Remember me when I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land, when you can no more hold me by the hand, nor I, half turned to go, yet turning stay. I left the bookshop with my head spinning with such wonderful ideas and emotions that I never felt before. It's made me more determined to escape the drudgery of that school and all its petty rules. Oh, Sydney, I can't wait to see you.
Monday, November 11th, 1896. Nellie Spencer, away from school again today. Very disappointing, considering that this is her final year. She went away into the country on Saturday, and has not returned nor sent any reason.
Oh, miss. I know where she's gone. She's gone off with that fella, Sidney Smith.
Ada! Tuesday, November 12th. A telegram received from Nellie Spencer saying she could not possibly return today as she was so poorly. The vicar received another telegram this afternoon. It stated that
I am getting better and will write soon.
Nellie Spencer has not returned. The vicar has gone over to Hardin to learn particulars.
Shall we go to Movama tomorrow?
What for?
Oh, it's a mountain, a famous hill in the area. People go there to climb it.
Why? What's at the top?
For the view, Nellie. The view is magnificent.
Oh, I'd rather go to New Brighton, Sydney. Oh, or London. We could go to the theatre and see a play about toffs and what they say and do. A play like
The Importance of Being Earnest. First performed on the 14th of February, 1895 at the St. James Theatre, London.
I am the Honourable Gwendolyn...
No. I am the Honourable Gwendolyn Fairfax.
I am Miss Cecily...
Excuse me. I am Miss Cecily Cardew.
I am the Honourable Gwendolyn Fairfax, and I simply must marry a man by the name of Ernest. I love the name Ernest. My father is Lord Bracknell. You have not heard of Papa, I suppose.
I am Miss Cecily Cardew, and Mr. Ernest Worthing and I are engaged to be married.
I'm afraid there must be some slight error, for Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged to me.
My dearest Gwendolyn, Mr. Ernest Worthing proposed to me exactly 10 minutes ago.
It is certainly very curious, for Mr. Ernest Worthing proposed to me yesterday afternoon at 5:30 p.m. So I'm sorry, my darling Cecily, if it is of any disappointment to you, but I have the prior claim.
Tea cakes.
Or muffins, dearest.
Ernest, my own dear Ernest. But that is my Uncle Jack.
And that is my cousin Algernon.
A gross deception has been practiced on us.
My darling Cecily.
My poor wounded Gwendolyn.
Let us withdraw from the company of
these men.
So, what happens next?
Pretty silly stuff, but Oscar was taking a real dig at those rich idle people who had nothing else to worry about except their Christian names.
I could be an actress. I could play the part of Gwendolyn. Oh, Cecily, pass me a cucumber sandwich.
Who's that? I'm not expecting anyone. Oh, it's a vicar, Nellie. Do you recognise him?
Oh no, it's the Reverend Montague from the school. He's come to find out about me. Don't answer the door, Sydney.
I've got to answer the door. He's seen me through the window.
Remember, Sid, I've been terribly ill. You will back me up, won't you?
I've been informed that a Miss Eleanor Spencer might be lodging here. Oh, Eleanor, you are here.
Yes, Reverend.
And this is?
This is my cousin.
Her cousin, yes.
Sidney Smith.
I
He's
see.
been kindly looking after me after I was took ill.
Yes. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Smith. Eleanor, what exactly has been the matter?
Terrible
feeling
fever. Yes.
Well, you know, Vicar, a bit of both. Sick in the stomach and a bit of fever.
I am sorry to hear that. And are you here all alone with your cousin, Mr. Smith?
Yes. No.
No, my great aunt resides here normally, but she's gone to visit a friend in the next village.
But she will be home before dark.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's only a short journey to the next village. Expect her shortly.
I see. You stated in your letter, Miss Spencer, that you would return to your duties on Monday the 18th.
Yes, I did hope to be able to return, but...
She was terribly sick in the night. Well, of course, I didn't know that, but so she tells me, Reverend.
And when might we expect you to return to your duties, Miss Spencer?
Oh, Reverend, as soon as possible. Tomorrow?
Head Mistress's Logbook, March 1897. Having sat their examinations in Lincoln on December 16th, 1896, Ada Morgan was this week awarded a first-class pass in the Queen's Scholarship Examination and is qualified under Article 50 and 52 of the Code.
But Nellie Spencer is only qualified under Article 50.
Go on. What happens next? What happens to Nellie Spencer?
We don't know. She isn't mentioned in the school logbooks after that. But Ada Morgan went on to become a qualified teacher.
And I moved to Christleton, where I was soon put in charge of the infants.
But we know nothing more about Nellie Spencer.
Well, I still think she ran away to Manchester with that Sydney Smith.
I think she became a suffragette.
I believe she became an actress on the stage.
I heard that she was working for a hotel kitchen.
Time for the third lesson of the day.
Man's in humanity to man.
What?
Robbie Burns, he wrote that in 1787.
Robbie Burns. Did he live on the corner in Cornwall Street?
No, he was a famous Scottish poet.
Welcome to 1914.
Vera Babington. My name's Vera Babington. These are my sisters.
Doris.
Ethel.
Oh, and Baby Jack. And Baby Jack.
And Baby Jack.
We live in Brook Street.
Newtown.
Squashed in between the Northgate railway station and the Chester and Nantwich Canal.
The largest housing estate outside of the city walls.
Newtown began development in the 1820s and carried on being built into the 1860s.
2 up and 2 down.
Literally, 2 rooms downstairs.
And 2 rooms upstairs.
No running water.
We have to get the water from a pump out in the street.
No privy either. That's a toilet to and me.
But what happens if in the middle of the night you're desperate for a wee?
We have to use that part in the corner of the room.
I would like to point out that after the Public Health Act of 1848,
Outside privies were provided.
1 privy for every 2 houses.
The downstairs back room has a fire.
No kitchen. We have to use a fire to cook and heat water.
Rent about 2-3 shillings a week.
Our dads, granddads, uncles and brothers all work on the railway.
By 1860, more than 500 men worked on the railways.
Other trades were whitesmiths.
Whitesmiths? What are they?
a template worker, a person who makes and repairs things made of light metal, tins, and those sorts of things.
There were blacksmiths and engineers.
Tailors, bakers, and hotel workers.
Ting! Lots of hotel workers as the railways brought racegoers and tourists to see this genteel residence.
Rudy racist!
Race is weak. It's an abomination. It encourages fraud, obscenity, debauchery, and profanity.
Sounds grand to me.
All kinds of shops opened in the city centre. There was a furniture shop, a jeweller's, and a china shop.
Skilled workers earned 4 shillings and unskilled 2 shillings and 8pence.
Most folk also took in lodgers. We live at 24 back Brook Street.
There's 9 of us living in 4 rooms.
The 3 kids sleep in 1 big bed upstairs. Oh, and Baby Jack.
It helps to keep warm, otherwise you freeze to death in the winter.
Mum and Dad, have the back room downstairs.
We have 2 lodgers who sleep in the front room upstairs.
He works on the railways and she runs errands for the solicitors in town.
Grandpa sleeps in the front room downstairs.
On the 4th of August 1914, the German army invades Belgium. Declaration of war by the United Kingdom on the German Empire. Hurrah! On the 22nd of August 1914, the British Expeditionary Force reaches Mons. Just after 6:30, drummer Edward Thomas of the 4th Dragoon Guards fires the British Army's first shot of the war near the Belgian village of Casteau.
Hurrah! 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 Now, to get us all in the right frame of mind, here's a little number from Joan Littlewood's 1963 play called
Oh, what a lovely war!
When the Conscription Act was passed, over 51,000 able-bodied men left home without leaving a forwarding address.
Shame!
And that was in Cheshire alone.
Women of England, do your duty. Send your men to enlist today.
Have you an able-bodied groom, gamekeeper or chauffeur serving you?
If so, shouldn't he be serving his country?
Is your best boy in khaki? If not, he should be.
Owing to the exigencies of the war, we were not able to reopen the school as planned on Monday 24th August.
Arrived at school a few minutes past 8 this morning to find the rooms in a very disorderly state. Workmen's tools, etc. and ladders were lying all about.
The vicar and teachers set to work to prepare the rooms for reopening, and at 9 a.m. things looked a bit more shipshape, and the children are assembled.
September 1914. First Battle of the Marne. 500,000 casualties.
Mr. Goulburn, caretaker, has now joined the army.
The new caretaker has done no scrubbing so far, and the places are badly brushed and dusted. He tells me he's giving up the job tomorrow to join the army.
A new caretaker, Mrs. Dilly, has been appointed to clean the school.
October 1914. Battle of Ypres. Wipers, the soldiers called it. 210,000 casualties.
Children asked to bring in a halfpenny each to buy wool to knit comforts for the soldiers and sailors. £1 and 2 pence raised, and wool was bought.
11 pairs of socks.
4 mufflers.
6 pairs of mittens and 3 pairs of gloves.
3 pairs of kneecaps sent to the Mayoress of Chester.
Examined standard 6 and 7 in arithmetic. Otherwise, ordinary routine.
Miss Cochrane left school today. Her place will not be filled now, just owing to the constraints of war and scarcity of teachers.
The children bought very generous offerings of potatoes and other vegetables for the wounded soldiers today. 17 girls carried them after school to the St John's Ambulance Nursing Home.
Miss Alderson was called home on Monday at noon. On Tuesday morning, she sent word that her brother had been killed in action.
April 1915. Second Battle of Ypres. 107,000 soldiers' casualties.
Miss Alderson will return to her duties at Christchurch School on Thursday morning.
A few girls have been excluded this week on account of swollen glands.
The work will be suspended at 10:30 today in order to celebrate Christmas festivities. The children in various groups will sing their songs. Small gifts in the way of cards and oranges will be given to the children.
February 1916, Battle of Verdun. 976,000 casualties.
Have received a certificate from the Royal Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals for subscribing £1, 3 shillings and 6 pence to their funds for sick and wounded soldiers.
July 1916. Battle of the Somme. 1,219,000 casualties.
18 girls who have fathers and brothers in the army wrote letters to them and they were sent from school. Otherwise, ordinary routine.
April 1917. Battle of Arras. 278,000 casualties.
The girls are knitting socks for fathers and brothers of all the children in the school. Miss Alderson left school in this afternoon to go to Bangor College. The children and teachers subscribed, and the vicar came and presented her with a trunk in remembrance for her 4 years' work with us.
July 1917, Battle of Passchendaele. 848,000 casualties.
Yesterday, the children sent a large quantity of vegetables to the St John's Hospital for wounded soldiers.
May 1918, the Spring Offensive. 1,539,715 casualties.
July 1918, 100 Days Offensive, 1,855,369 casualties.
The reading today is taken from Luke chapter 21. As Jesus looked up, he saw the rich putting their gifts of wealth into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow putting 2 very small copper coins. Truly, I tell you, he said, this poor widow has given more than the others, since all the others gave gifts out of their wealth. But she, out of her poverty, gave all she had to live on.
November the 11th, 1918. At 11 o'clock, all ordinary work ceased. School was closed and stayed closed for the week from Tuesday, November the 12th.
Monday, 21st July, 1919. The children spent a very happy day on Saturday to celebrate the signing of the peace treaty. All met in school at 1:15 and marched down to the Rue to enjoy the sports and a sumptuous tea.
Tuesday, the 11th of November, 1919. At the King's request, all work will stop for a few minutes this morning, and a short silence of 2 minutes observed to remember those who have fallen in the war.
Truly, I tell you, this poor woman has given more than the others, since all the others gave gifts out of her wealth, but she, out of her poverty, gave all she had to live on.
1954. Scene 4. Lesson 4. Sociology.
Building the New Jerusalem. Building the what? You know, after the Second World War. Building a better Britain. As you said, 1954.
I thought we were in the First World War. Time doesn't half fly in this play.
Yes. Tempus fugit.
What's that?
You know, time flies. Latin. Fugio, fugis, fugit.
All right. So it's the 1950s.
Wolverhampton Wanderers won their first division championship.
Yes! Sorry.
Sit down. 14 years of rationing comes to an end.
BBC Television broadcast the first English soap opera.
The Grove Family.
The 1950s saw the introduction of fish fingers.
Electric fires.
Washing machines and toilet paper.
Toilet paper? What did you use before then?
Best not said.
In the 1950s, a typical home now had a cooker.
A vacuum cleaner.
And plug-in radio.
But many homes still didn't have a washing machine.
Most people were still doing their washing by hand.
We have open fires.
But no central heating.
We get a clip round the ear when we've been naughty.
Mum gives us a teaspoon of malt.
And a spoon of cod liver oil before school.
Ugh.
Nobody round here has a TV.
So we listen to the radio.
If we're good.
Use it while you work.
Listen with mother. Are you sitting comfortably, children? Then I'll begin.
Children's favourites.
Dick Barton, private agent and secret investigator, saving the world from mad rulers and evil scientists.
Or my favourite.
A journey into space, a tale of the future.
Set in the far future of 1965.
After a failed attempt to launch a rocket in New Mexico, Jet Morgan and his crew take the first trip in the rocket ship Luna.
Despite all known scientific facts, they soon realize that they are not alone on the moon.
Captain Jet Morgan, Doc Matthews, Lemmy Barnett, and Sir Stephen Mitch Mitchell will face many incredible adventures before they eventually return back to Earth. 0 minus 30 seconds. Stand by for Mark.
Standing by, Cap.
Okay, Mitch.
Okay.
Okay, Doc.
Okay.
Okay, Lemmy.
Okay! Well, I think so. But I keep hearing these strange sounds in my head.
You'll be okay, Lemmy. Just hold tight.
Okay, Mitch. Ready for takeoff?
Hello, Control. Standing by the Genesee booster, waiting for your signal. Over. Hello, Control. Standing by to Genesee booster, waiting for your signal. Over. Come in, Control. Control. Come in.
What's up, Cap?
They're not answering.
We can't wait much longer, Captain. We're losing momentum every second. We won't make it.
Lemmy, switch on the televiewer.
Okay, Cap, televiewer. Oh.
Stand by to switch the atomic motors. We'll have to give her full power.
Don't overdo it, Mitch. We haven't got much fuel left.
Watch the fuel gauges, Doc.
Okay.
Everybody ready? Batten down, everyone. Fire the atomic motor, Lemmy.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Brakes, everyone. This is gonna be unpleasant. Very unpleasant.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contact.
Good luck, everyone.
Children, back to your places. Headmistress's logbook. 1st of May, 1954. School nurse revisited the school this afternoon. Routine inspection. 4 children were excluded because of lice. School dentist called today. He examined the teeth of the infants. School nurse called this morning to weigh and measure the girls who are to be medically examined. Otherwise, ordinary routine. Nothing to report.
Walking to school.
In the rain
And the snow.
and the summer glow.
We play in the
We
streets.
climb the coal yard wall.
We skin our knees.
Rip our
We
clothes.
get into fights.
And nobody says a word.
Running.
Shouting.
We yell and
We
scream.
bellow and screech.
And knock on doors.
Football in the entries.
Scurrying along the streets.
We are the Trafford Street Gang.
We are tough.
Rough.
Hard as nails.
I'd often go to the shop on St. Anne Street for sweets.
The door has this bell on it, and when you open it, it would ring. And inside, it's magic.
Our first supermarket was the Co-op on Black Diamond Street. Posh it was.
Mum never got used to shopping there. She always felt like she was shoplifting.
She was used to the corner shop, where you gave a list to the man and he got all the items for you.
She could never get used to the idea of picking a tin of salmon off the shelf and putting it in your basket.
She always thought she had to tell the manager.
Taking a tin of salmon and putting it in my basket, is that all right?
Yes, that's okay, miss.
I'm taking this Hovis brown loaf and I'm putting it in my basket, is that all right?
Yes, that's fine, missus.
I was always being sent to a co-op.
Right in the middle of a game.
You're it!
No, you're it.
Jimmy!
Oh, Mum.
Jimmy, run down Co-op with this list of things for Mrs. Evans.
Oh, Mum.
She ain't feeling well, Jimmy.
Well, I'm not feeling well because I've hurt my leg, haven't I?
You lying to me, Jimmy?
No, Mum.
If you're lying to me, Jimmy,
I'm not, Mum.
give this list to Mrs. Evans.
Mum.
Avis Moore has a shop on James Street.
You did not mess with her.
She puts the fear of God into you. Just going into the shop.
You daren't put a foot wrong in there.
It's like stepping into the jaws of hell.
But
She made these dandelion and burdock lollies, which she made herself.
Saturday mornings are spent in the Laugh and Scratch.
Also known as the Regal Cinema.
6p for 2 films, a bag of gobstoppers and a sing-along.
The only problem was, you spent the rest of the day scratching.
Still, it is worth it.
Headmistress's logbook. 26th of May, 1954. Dr. Fallon examined 15 of the leavers this morning. Dr. McGregor called today for immunisation of new entrants. School nurse called this morning for cleanliness inspection. Otherwise, ordinary routine. Nothing to report.
Let's rewind a couple of years to 1952, 6th of February. I remember that date. We were doing capitals of the world.
The capital of Norway is Oslo. The capital of Belgium is Brussels. The capital of Italy is Rome. The capital of Spain is Madrid. The capital of France is Paris.
Miss Brown, bring the children into the corridor, to the foot of the stairs, as I have an important announcement to make.
We tumble out. We stand staring up the huge staircase to look at the looming figure of the head.
Children, members of staff, I regret to announce that the radio has just confirmed the death of our King George VI, who passed away peacefully in his bed this morning. His eldest daughter, Princess Elizabeth, who is in Kenya, has been informed and is making her way home. She is now our Queen. Long may she live.
Miss, so maybe we get a holiday then?
Ethel, how disrespectful of you. Go and wait outside my room immediately.
I was just asking.
On June the 2nd, 1953, we did have a holiday. The new Queen was crowned.
Crowned in Westminster Abbey. I had a new dress with a sash. It was yellow. Then the Wilsons got a TV and we watched it all. Then there was a street party. Trafford Street had the best street parties.
They hang banners right across the street and they have one long table right in the centre of the street.
with loads and loads of food.
But we were too scared to go because the Trafford Street lot are rough.
Hard as nails, walking to school.
In the rain,
And the snow.
And the summer glow.
We play in the streets.
climb the coal yard wall,
We skin our knees.
And rip our
We
clothes.
get into fights.
and nobody says a word.
Running
Shouting.
We yell and
We
scream.
bellow and screech.
and knock on doors.
Football in the entries.
Scurrying along the streets.
We are the Trafford Street Gang.
We are tough.
Rough.
Hard as nails.
Children, pay attention, children. As the vicar has kindly given up his precious time to come and talk to you this afternoon.
Thank you, Headmistress. Children, I'm going to read to you from the King James Bible, a most interesting section about Jesus' family history. Matthew chapter 1. And Jonas begat Jeconidas and his brethren. About time they carried away to Babylon.
Please, Reverend, where's Babylon?
Babylon is a very ancient city in Persia. A long, long way away from here, in Persia.
So you mean like Birkenhead?
Oh no, Ethel. Much, much further away than that, Ethel. Right across the sea.
Oh, my dad went across the sea in the war to beat those bloody Germans.
Ethel! I've never heard such language from a child. 100 lines in my office after school.
But that's just what my dad says.
I do apologise, Vicar. No more interruptions, children. Let the Vicar continue with his reading.
Thank you, Headmistress. And run after they were brought to Babylon. Jeconidas begat Sathel, and Sathel begat Zombrel.
Please, sir.
And
Why do they all have funny names?
Look who's talking. Vera Duck.
That's 200 lines.
And Zombrel begat Abid, and Abid begat Elplam, and Elplam begat Azor.
Please, Reverend. What does begat mean?
Vera, interrupting the Vicar. How insolent.
I only asked what begat means, miss.
Come and stand out here at the front. Knuckle up. I've never heard such insolence.
Miss, insulin, miss. Yes, I know what insulin is. My father's diabetic. He has to use insulin.
Tom, lines after school with Ethel.
We all watch as Vera extended her right hand. We see her flinch. We hear the crack of the cane as it strikes across her knuckles, and we see her face crease in pain. There is silence, and then she sobs.
Walking to school.
In the rain,
And the snow.
And the summer glow.
We play in the
we
streets.
climb the coal yard walls,
We skin our knees.
Rip our clothes.
Get into fights.
and nobody says a word.
Running.
Shouting.
We yell and
We
scream.
bellow and
And
screech.
knock on doors.
Football in the entries.
Scurrying along the streets.
We are the Trafford Street Gang.
We are tough.
Rough.
Hard as nails.
Hours playing in the coal yards.
Timbers and coal and barrows.
Coal dust everywhere.
My mum hated the coal dust.
Every morning cleaning the front step.
Frozen bottles of milk in the winter.
Chill you from head to toe.
But if you were good, you could choose the bottle for on the stove from nearest the fire, and that was always warm.
In the winter, the school was filled with the smell of damp coats steaming in the cloakroom.
We played with marbles and milk bottle tops.
We have hours of fun with spinning tops and hoops.
And skipping ropes and yo-yos.
And we love to chalk out a diagram on the road to play hop.
Skip and jump. I can remember visiting my nan and granddad in Water Street.
Having a tin bath, which my granddad used to top up with the copper kettle that he heated up on the coal fire.
And I can remember clambering up into the shunted first-class carriages when no one was about and pretending we were posh.
And clambering down again into the waterlogged air raid shelter just behind Black Diamond Street. And sailing imaginary boats in the puddles.
I remember my dad lifting me up on his shoulders to see the trains over the wall at the end of the street.
Inspector's report on religious knowledge. 5th of July, 1957. Christchurch is a junior girls' and mixed infant school of about 124 pupils. In the junior classes, the girls were interested and attentive, and the answers to my questions were good. A good selection of drawings are on view. The vicar was present, and I quite enjoyed my visit to this friendly school, where a strong tradition exists between the school and the parish church.
Then, suddenly, almost without warning, Head Teacher's Logbook, 4th of October, 1960. A managers' meeting was held in the school today. A resolution was passed that the school should be closed at the earliest possible time.
We played in the streets. We climbed the courtyard walls. We skin our knees and rip our clothes. We get into fights and nobody says a word. Nobody says a word now.
Silence. Silence.
Head teacher's logbook, 21st of December, 1960. Final entry. Christchurch School closed at 4 p.m. today, and the front door was locked for the last time. Silence hung in the yard like sheets. Nothing to flap or spin. No creaks, no shocks of voices. Just air. No kicking legs, no fights, no shouting, laughter, anything. My classroom smelt of nothing. And the thunder was like silence in my ears. At every desk, a still child stared at me. Teachers walked through walls and back again. Cupboard doors swung open, and out crept more children. And more. They tiptoed all around me, touched me with their ice-cold fingers. They opened up their mouths with laughter that was quieter than snow.
Silence. Silence.
Christchurch School closed for good, December 1960. There are no further details about this in the logbooks.
My name is Marjorie, and this was my school, and I was a pupil here in 1952. I remember the death of King George VI and the headmistress making her announcement as we all stood staring up at her from the hallway. It was here that I made my first appearance on stage at the age of 9 or 10 as Topsy in Uncle Tom's Cabin. I still have a very clear memory of that occasion because it was the first time that I heard the laughter of an audience, and it was a very intoxicating experience. The laughter came at a point in the play when Topsy, who is being registered to her new master as part of his property, is asked, "When were you born, child?" To which this little one replies, "Oh, sir, I wasn't born. I expect I just growed." The whole audience erupted, and I was hooked. I was one of the last pupils here.
My name is Diane, the girl with the funny accent. I missed Holyhead, and I wanted to go home to Wales.
I'm Charlie Parr. This was my school. I sat over there, just there. I was one of the first pupils here in 1842.
I'm Ethel Williams. This was my school. I lived in Brook Street, and my dad won a medal in the war, and the vicar gave me a prize for my story about how he lost his right arm.
This was my school. I was one of the many headmistresses at school number 6. My room was just through there, where I'd write the weekly accounts in the logbooks. Mostly it was just ordinary routine.
I am one of the many reverends for Christchurch School. Our church is just across the way. I visit this school daily to check the children's Bible knowledge and catechism. I also visited the truants and the sick.
I'm the inspector, one of the many inspectors. I inspected this school in May 1960 and wrote, "The children's happiness and cheerful responses show the teachers have succeeded in creating an atmosphere of self-confidence and security."
We're the Babingtons. We never liked this school. We're always in trouble. Got caned regularly for being late, being disobedient, having dog-eared copybooks, and I can't remember now.
This was my school. I was here about 1928 thereabouts, the infants department. My mum used to make me come here even if I felt a bit sickly. I had a bigger friend who used to look after me, but I was afraid of the Trafford Street boys.
My name is Tom Morgan. I was in the infants department here. I lived with my mum on Gloucester Street. She'd often give me money to go and spend on sweets at the shop on St Anne Street, but the Trafford Street boys would often take it.
This was my school, and to this day I cannot see primroses or bluebells without being transported back to Christchurch School.
Oh, one of these days around 12 o'clock, the whole wide